All right, fantastic. Welcome to our webinar today. We're going to be talking specifically about writing. And I know how important it is as a homeschool mom, because I was there, finding a writing program that works. The world is not lacking writing programs. There is not a shortage of writing programs. There are a ton out there. And there are some fantastic writing programs out there. So it's finding the one that fits your child, your family, your schedule, all of those things. That's the part that really matters. So that's what we're going to talk about. And at the end of our time together, whether or not you decide, yes, Wow Writers Clubhouse is the answer for us, no matter what, you're going to leave here feeling equipped to find the program that's the right fit for you. Even if it's not us, you will leave with that kind of value. That is my goal. Now, I, of course, have been in your shoes wanting to find a writing program that works, but I have a little bit different slant on it in that I'm creating the curriculum. When I homeschooled two of our three boys, I searched for a curriculum that would work with multiple children in the home. And that was quite a trick because the kids were at different levels. And I ended up thinking, you know what, with all this 30 years of teaching experience, at that time it was maybe 20 years of teaching experience behind me, I bet I could create something that would work really well for us. And if it could work well for us, I bet it could work well for other families. And so that is what I started doing in 2012, was creating writing curriculum with the homeschool family in mind. So here's the process. And these are the things that I want you to consider as you are choosing your program. By the way, as I've continued with this, every year I ask moms, grandmas, caregivers, and dads too. We get dads every once in a while. I don't know. We have a dad on today. If we do, welcome. What are you looking for in your writing curriculum? And these are the things that all of you tell me. And just anybody agree with any of these? Is this what you're looking for? Yes. Okay. I want a writing curriculum that, one, is going to get my child to write. I need my child to write. And a lot of these, I can't get them to even write. I want a writing curriculum that's going to get my child to write at grade level, maybe even above grade level. I want one that's going to offer consistent practice so that I don't have to, in October, go find another program because we've already exhausted this one. I want a program that's going to meet all of our grade level expectations. Everything that we're supposed to know for that state test, can it include all of that too? And I want to make sure that I have a curriculum that for sure is going to prepare my child for the next grade level and future success too, right? Not just elementary, but middle school and high school and college. It would be great to find one as well that would build my child's confidence in this area. And if it could do it all and eliminate fighting, keeping it fun, that's what I want. Okay, that's kind of a long list, but who wants that curriculum, right? Yeah, we all want that curriculum because that is our job as a homeschool mom, right? That is our job as homeschooling families, to do all of this. And it is a big task, but when I go into creating curriculum, it's your thoughts, it's your desires, and it's your wants that I am keeping at the forefront of my mind. There are 3 steps that I consider when I am creating curriculum. And these are 3 things that I want you to consider as you're choosing a curriculum. Number 1, you want something that's going to engage the children. If your child is kicking and screaming and doesn't want to do it, it doesn't matter how great you think the program is. You're going to fight, and it's going to be a struggle all along. So it has to be engaging to children. The second thing is it has to be something that's going to make your life easier. not harder. We want easier. Anybody up for easier? Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, because we're already busy. So easier sounds great. But it also has to be academically grand. It can't just be cute, fluffy things with like fun little art activities attached to it. And even though I love all that stuff, there's this academic rigor that it must include if we really want to prepare our children for future writing success. So, welcome to the Clubhouse. This is my new program. And you are the very first that I am unveiling it to see and to witness and to ask questions, because I'm still figuring things out too. But here's what I can tell you. I have been running 2 programs now for the last 3 years, Wow Writers Live and Wow Writers Workshop. And as a solopreneur, even though I have amazing help, that is a lot to juggle 2 programs. So I have wanted to try to simplify my life. The working 60, 70 hours a week is getting exhausting, and I know there's a simpler way that I can do it. So the 2 will become 1. The Wow Writers Live best parts are meeting the Wow Writers Workshop best parts, and they are uniting. And we are calling it the Clubhouse, the Wow Writers Clubhouse. So when you're wondering, what are any of the live things that Mrs. Webb's doing in the fall? This is it. This is the only live part where I'm interacting with your kids via Zoom. There aren't options as far as different programs. There are options within this one, you'll see, but this is it. There is a standalone that'll stay, which is Wow SE Essentials. It has helped a lot of families build the structure of one academic essay. And if that's all you need, if you're like, yeah, I don't mind coming up with topics, I don't feel like we need a community, I just want to know how to write one structured essay, that's just going to be a standalone program. Wow SE Essentials, by the way, it's open all summer. We're going to have an online community for that so that I can get to know the kids a little bit. And you can ask me more about that later if that interests you. But let's talk first about engaging our students. All right, engaging our students. That part, super duper important. Oh, thank you, Tatiana. That's awesome. Yes. Oh, good. So keep those questions. It looks, Tatiana, that is in direct message, so nobody else is seeing that, but I will come back to that. If I forget, just remind me at the end. That is very sweet. So here's the thing about engaging children, and I want you to think about your child right now. What engages your child's attention? And some of you are going to go right to video games. Sure, that engages children's attention. What else engages your children's attention? Time with you? Family time? Playing a sport? I would love to hear in the chat box what your child gets so engaged in it, besides writing. And maybe for some of you, it is writing. Like I know for Heather's daughter, writing probably does engage her, right? Reading, peer interaction, getting outdoors and finding lizards. Yeah, how many of your kids are so engaged when you're just outside, right? Oh, painting, that's a great one. Cars, oh, that's fascinating too. Legos, great one, great one. A good movie, yes. Okay, we want to think about that as parents, right? Because that engagement, when you see your child engaged in those things, are you seeing these 3 things? In a lot of cases, we are. There's enjoyment happening. There's some kind of a challenge. Like go to the lizards. There's a challenge in catching a lizard. I know my boys have grown up on 5 acres and they have caught many a lizard. Yes. So there's a challenge involved in that. And they're usually doing it with friends. So there's social interaction like, oh, I almost got him. Here, you try to get him. And all of a sudden you see this high engagement. This is important. I love to study the human brain and psychology and the minds of people. And let me just tell you, kids, especially tweens, any tweens in the house? Tweens and teens? Yeah, they're a specimen all their own. But their brains are also very fascinating. And there's so many similarities. you too are more engaged with something, I dare say, if you find it enjoying, a little bit challenging, and there's some social interaction. So when it comes to enjoyment with your students, as I continue to do my research on this, as odd as it may sound, structure and predictability are actually key pieces. And I want you to apply this beyond what you're learning about my writing program right now. Like, I want you to take this into, as you're picking a math program, a science program, a history program, whether you're picking extracurricular types of activities. Structure and predictability increase enjoyment for children. Is that interesting to you? I found that interesting. Structure and predictability increase enjoyment. That's very interesting to me. In this program, there are going to be those pieces, structure and predictability. There will be calendars. Now, the way that I break down one essay is to give a child 4 weeks to complete it. I am not somebody who believes in the philosophy that children should write an essay a week. There are some teachers out there that do, and there are some programs that promise quantity. If you want your child to have them writing an hour every day, 2 hours, get an essay out of them once a week. I have tried that method when I was a classroom teacher. We had a 5th grade teacher who was sure that was going to work. In my experience, that did not work. Even the good writers got burnt out. It was too much, too fast. And here was one of the problems. They never connected with what they wrote. They weren't invested in what they wrote. It was just as fast, get it done, move on. And they never connected with their own thoughts and their own writing. So what you're going to get in this program is an essay is going to take a whole month. There's presentation week, there's production week, there's polishing week, and there's publishing week. Your students will get what's called a monthly log. Now, for people who were with me in Wow Writers Live, they'll be like, oh, that's like the daily log. It is, but you'll see there's no set dates. You're going to decide on the dates. Now, right away, a few of you are going to be like, whoa, hold up. I have to decide the dates? You're not going to tell me specific dates? I am not any longer. So why did I remove the strict dates? There were still too many homeschool families, you guys lead busy lives, who, whether they got sick or they ended up having to go out of town, things come up. Things just come up. And when students couldn't make that deadline, and we were reading 150 essays all in one weekend, which was also very stressful, it made it so that about 3 to 5% of the students couldn't get it done, couldn't make the deadline, then they couldn't be in the showcase. So it was eliminating some students, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Now, I still recommend specific dates, but you get to pick them, and you're going to put them on the calendar that you pick for that month. Although I will always give you, I recommend doing this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a little bit every day. You don't have to follow it that way. It's just a guide. Ultimately, you're the boss, applesauce. All right, you're going to get to choose. We're going to start this on this week. And if you need to take a whole week off, you can start the next one with a different date for the week. So you've got a lot of flexibility in there. And yet, like I said, the structure and predictability are there for the students. As students start to realize, oh, I can totally do this on my own. I can go in and check my little boxes off. That starts to build their confidence and their independence, as well as that feeling of enjoyment that I know what's coming next. But we still have to keep kids challenged, right? We've got to keep kids challenged. I like to think of like a video game. This little picture of this kid on the computer, I picture it like that's a video game moment, right? Tongue is out, like concentration going on here. I don't know what game it is, but I'm sure it's fun. If you think of a video game, one of the things that kids like is the challenge, getting to the next level. There's a lot of science behind that. Leveling up, that challenge is a good thing. So I will still offer every month that your child works on the essay. There will be 3 level options. A level 1 is great for beginning writers, whether that's a 3rd grader or a 7th grader who didn't get good writing structure earlier. Maybe you're pulling your child from a school because you're like, we're heading into 8th grade and my child still cannot write a 5-paragraph essay. I'm concerned. Got it. I'm going to help. You may want to start though at a level 1 and let's just master a single paragraph first. Then move to a level 2 and get 3 paragraphs mastered. Introduction, body, conclusion, and then we'll get your child up to a level 3, which is 4 to 6 paragraphs. Introduction, multiple body paragraphs, conclusion. Now, one of the things that I love about writing is that writing does not care how old you are. It doesn't care how old you are. I have 3rd graders and 4th graders that are writing at, you'd think, a high school level. One of our WOW readers is a high school English teacher. And she says it every year. You have students that aren't even near high school yet that are writing better than the 9th graders that are coming into my English class in the fall of every year. That's a high school teacher, right? So just know, writing doesn't matter how old you are. We can teach you the skills and help you level up. There's always that next challenge. But you also wanted to be challenged, just focus on one task at a time. So everything's going to be broken down. Decide on your topic, read your research material, take your notes, sketch an outline, compose a rough draft, edit and revise, instead of being overwhelming, because there's a fine line between challenge and frustration. We don't want to move them to the frustration level. We want to keep them challenged enough, but feeling successful, because celebrating that win, even when it's just a little task, it does something in our brain. And we do get this sensation of satisfaction. How many of you have completed your own personal challenge? Maybe some of you are like, I just completed my first year of homeschooling. That's a big challenge, right? Are you feeling that sensation of satisfaction? Some of you are like, I can't believe we did it. We really did it. And we're coming back for another year. Yeah, it really does happen. And you want to take the time to celebrate that feeling. That's what winning feels like. And it's what kids love about a challenge, is the win at the end, if they win that level. But they also need to be engaged in a writing program, something that's going to have social interaction. We'll talk about this in a minute, but there are very specific standards for English language arts. Speaking and listening are part of those standards. Your children should be speaking and listening to other writers, and not just writing something that gets stuck in a folder, or maybe your ES, HST, EF, all those acronyms for the teacher at your charter school. Maybe they get to see it and they just do a little check. No, writing is meant to be a form of expression that is shared. It is shared. Otherwise, writing becomes a very lonely experience. Now, the thing that I have loved about both of my programs is how we all get to know each other. In the very beginning, when I was doing this curriculum, I had this thought. Can you guys still hear me? My mic just, yeah? Okay, good. So I thought at first, you know what? I could just create a curriculum and it'll just be videos, pre-recorded videos, right? Just synchronous type of material. Right? That's what I could do. I could just put that out there. And as I thought about it, I thought, how boring. I wouldn't want to do that. And as a teacher, I wouldn't want to do that. As a student, I know I wouldn't want to do that, because what I want is to know your child. I want to hang out with your kiddo. I want to be an encourager to your kiddo. I don't want this to be a lonely experience. How boring. It is very hard to engage children if nobody is involved in really celebrating with them all that they're doing. So the social interaction is important. This is our new calendar. This is big. This is, if you're like, what's the biggest change? This is the biggest change. Let me go to this one that might be a little bit easier. I expanded one of those weeks. Is that easier to see? This is what's going to happen. What we're going to be doing, because you get to pick, your child gets to choose which writing genre do you want to start with? If let's say that your son wants to start with narrative. Let's say Aiden wants to do narrative first. Okay. All right. So Aiden wants to do narrative first. Great. You're going to go ahead and you're going to go to the pre-recorded pieces and you're going to get started. You're going to do week 1, which is presentation week. Now that week, Aiden has some options. He can come to the Clubhouse meetings. Now, I will be teaching Clubhouse meetings, 1 narrative a week, 1 persuasive a week, and 1 expository a week. But our WOW readers are also becoming WOW Clubhouse leaders. And they're going to have class meetings where instead of us teaching to your child, we will start with a thing that we're focusing on. So let's say Aiden comes up and Tuesday works best for you. And it turns out Miss Mimi is going to be there at 11:30 a.m. in the Zoom room. So anybody who wants to come at 11:30 on Tuesday to talk about narrative, to share what they're doing so far in narrative, they're going to show up to that class. And Miss Mimi is going to open the class and welcome everybody and say, hey, so you know what our focus is today? We're going to focus on our story hook. There are a couple ways we can hook a reader in. We can hook them with action. We can hook them with dialogue. So that's going to be our focus this week. And where is everybody today? So Aiden's like raising his hand and he's, Miss Mimi, I just started today and I already have an idea. And Miss Mimi's going to say, tell us about your idea. And Aiden's going to be like, so I'm thinking, and then somebody else is going to say, oh, I already started last week and I already have my outline. Can I show everybody my outline? So we're going to let them share screen and up's going to come their swabs. Somebody wanted but so you'll learn all of that in the course. And then everybody's going to be like, oh, I like that. Oh, you know what you might want to do? And it's going to turn into a writing community. Now, let's say that's all that Aiden wanted to do that week. Great. Then he can come next week if he wants and come to the same narrative group or go to one of the different ones. But the other thing that can happen is Aiden can go, oh, I am so excited now to start my swabs. I want to come back on Wednesday. Miss Mimi's doing another narrative meetup at 1:00. I'm going to go back this time. I want to show her how much I did in just one day. Or maybe Aiden wants to work that day, but then says, oh, Miss Webb's doing narrative meetup at 9 a.m. on Thursday. I'm going to go show Miss Webb now. See how that's going to work? You have the opportunity because some of these kids are hungry. They are hungry for an audience. They are hungry for social interaction. I don't know if it's just all the COVID stuff, but man, I get kids that just jump on and they are just so excited to be together. Now, some of you are so busy, that's not going to be an option. You're going to be like, all we're going to be able to do is Thursday at 9 a.m. Is that okay? Of course, that's okay. I encourage 1 weekly visit with us. But some of your children who are really shy, they might say at first, can I just show when I'm all the way done and just go once a month? Yes, that is an option. That is an option. I want you to pick up whatever makes sense to you. This is in lieu of classes. I will not be teaching the live classes like I once did. All of the materials that you need to complete the course, those will all be in the course itself. This will be our Zoom time live each week. And you'll notice that on Fridays, something very different, has nothing to do with writing. But again, there's so many kids that just want to hang out. I'm incorporating something called Friday Fun Day. It's a Zoom meeting. Anybody's welcome. Again, not mandatory, but it's just to have some fun together, to tell that joke of the week, to hear other kids tell jokes. There will not be a scripted thing that I am taking the stage and leading the course. I'm more of the moderator, and I want to hear what's going on in their life. Somebody maybe just had a dance recital and they can tell us about that. Or mom just had a baby and they're super excited and they want to share that. As I've said, so many of these kids want to connect. And I feel like we have this great opportunity to give them that. And that's why the Clubhouse feeling feels so good. Wow Writers Clubhouse is the perfect name because it feels like this fun, engaging clubhouse. Okay. And then as well, there is an online space called the Community Circle. It's getting a bit of a remodel as well. It's going to be linked as a place where you can still put your essay and you can get a full video review of your work, which is something we've always done for Wow Writers Live students, but we've not done for anybody else. We're going to do it for everybody. But the nice thing is they're not going to all come in 150 in one weekend. If your child is like super engaged and they write their essay in 2 weeks, they're going to put their link in a special place. And within 48 hours, we're going to have a review sent back to them. Boom. Then they can make any changes, make comments. Does that make sense? So you're still going to have that compartment, that part too, because so many people would love that. Do they have to share it's a great question. Do they have to share their outlines? Do they have to share that they took notes? No. In fact, one of the things I have loved about Wow Writers Workshop, so this is the other program that I have been running for 3 years. There are a lot of times students that come just to listen and learn from the other students who are sharing. There won't be time every week for 30 people to share. I think classes will probably be 20 to 30 students at a time. We'll keep adding on more classes if needed, but usually I would think maybe 8 to 10 students will be able to share something, and the rest of us are just going to listen and encourage them. You don't have to share every week. I'm so glad you asked that. It's such a good question. They do not have to share every week. They can just come hang out. We're going to be talking about writing. We're going to, like I said, we're going to have a focus thing. We'll be talking about whatever that focus is and using student examples as we go through that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, really, I think he would do great with that. Okay. So that's how I'm making it engaging, right? As we mentioned, students need to be engaged. It's going to be enjoyable. It's going to have structure. It's going to have predictability. It's going to be challenging, but not to the point of frustration because you've got levels. You can level down if you need. You can level up if you need, all that sort of stuff. And then there's a lot of interaction so that they're not left hanging. The other thing we're going to do, and I want to make sure you understand, this is not to be bothersome. It's to be helpful to you. Okay. We're going to be keeping track of who's turning in work and who's not turning in work. And if we're not seeing work from your child, we're going to reach out to you. Not from, hey, what's happening over there? Not from a judgmental, like, why isn't this getting turned in? I want you to remember we're on the same team. You may not realize children have a tendency to say, oh yeah, I turned that in. But your idea of how they turned it in and my idea of how they turned it in may not be perfectly aligned. So we're going to be communicating with you. If it's been 6 weeks and we've not seen an essay yet, you're going to hear from us. And we're just going to say it that way, very kindly. This is coming from a place of care. Hey, it's been 6 weeks. Is everything okay? We haven't seen anything. Do you need to jump on a Zoom meeting with us one-on-one with your kiddo? Like, how can we better support you? We want you to be successful, right? So that personal part is there too. The second thing that I had to consider when creating this is you. I really wanted to create something that makes your life easier. Now, anybody who has done any of my programs will say at first it doesn't feel easier because it's different. It's different than a lot of other programs out there. That's actually good. Because there's a lot more connection in this piece. So things that I want you to have, I want you to have peace of mind that the level of writing that's happening is high. We're in the mindset that your child's going to high school and we're getting your child to that level. That's our goal over time. Okay. So you've got peace of mind. Okay. This is a teacher who knows these standards. Got it. I have peace of mind. We also don't want you to have to go create the lessons. Oh, what should we write about this month? Do you want to write about this? Do you want to write about that? No, you do not need more work in your life. We want to do all the lessons for you. And at the same time, we want you to be connected to your child, and writing connects you with your child. And I want to ask this of all of you that are returning members. I would like for you to share in the chat box, especially for our new families. Have you seen ways that writing in our course has actually brought you closer in connection to your child? And if so, how and why? I will tell you, for me, when my children and I have done writing together, it opens communication, and we talk about things that we might not otherwise talk about. Our conversations would end up at the dinner table sometimes. Like when we were doing the one about should teenagers have jobs? And we had a debate at our kitchen table. Writing can do that. Writing allows you to have conversations, and you can listen to your child and say, tell me why you believe that. Or, wow, where did you get that resource? That quote right there. I love that quote. Your child's going to beam, and you two are going to feel bonded. Versus when you try to teach writing yourself, it can often feel like butting heads. Anybody been there? Yeah, when somebody else leads the lesson, you're doing it alongside your child, and you're involved too. And it's like you're in it together. You're not separated, you're bonded. Please take time to read the beautiful thing that the people are saying over there about that part of it. It is a really special part. It gets fun and interesting. I agree 100%. So those are things that I want to keep in mind when I'm creating this for you. I know how busy you are. Your desk probably looks like this right now, as you're like, okay, what am I doing for writing, for math, for novels, for science, for history, right? You're in planning mode. I get it. Whatever writing program you pick, there are 3 core writing styles you want to practice. Ideally once a semester, so twice a year. Persuasive, where you're giving your opinion, learning how to be argumentative with research-based evidence. There's also expository, where you're just being informative. You're explaining something. Your opinion is staying out of it. And there's narrative, where we want to entertain. Okay. Now, I've already created, in fact, to date, I have created 24 courses. And one of the funny things that happens is we do a course, like we did this one called Animal Planet Podcast, where students studied an animal. And then I taught them how to create audio so that they had a podcast version after they wrote their essay. They then turned that into a podcast. I always try to have a few little techie fun things for the kids. Now, what's really awesome with that is that it was so fun. The kids are like, when are we going to do that again? And in my mind, I'm like, oh, we already did it. It's done. But one of my students was like, but there's another animal I want to study, and I want to do the podcast again. So when I told the kids I am bringing back, I am going to update them all because there's dates mentioned. That is like my big job this summer, cleaning things up, making them very succinct, fresh, freshen them up, right? It's like a remodel, but the ideas are still going to be there. Because like I said, some of these kids so much loved doing the podcast, and kids that weren't in the year before were like, what? You did a podcast last year? I want to do a podcast. So the good news is I'm bringing back the most favorite ones, as well as there will be new materials constantly coming out as well. So it's a mix of the two. Okay, but don't forget that whole acronym, by the way, PEN. I hope you write that down, because even if you're like, yeah, I'm not sure the Clubhouse is for us. I actually was on a call last week with a mom, and we got on our Zoom call, and she said right out of the gate, she goes, this is what I want. I want something that I don't have to do a thing. I need a class where I can just have my student go on a very specific day and time every week and just report to you, and I don't need to do a thing. So I said, this is probably not the program. And she said, no, I've heard great things. I've heard that students, their writing goes up 1 to 2 levels. No, I want your program. And I said, okay, let's just start. I'll show you the calendar. You can specifically pick your day. If Thursdays at 9 a.m. works for you, just tell your child, like, you have to go at 9 a.m. on Thursday. And she said, but what if he doesn't show up? What will you do? Like, me? What am I going to do? I'm not going to do a thing. That would be something that I would think you as the parent would need to instill, perhaps like a consequence if your child's not showing up. And then she said, where are the dates on the calendar? And I said, there aren't dates. You're going to put the dates. Wait, I have to actually write in the dates? Yes. And I could just see the look on her face. She was so disappointed. And I said, this just isn't the right program for you, is it? And she said, no, this is not the right program. And she said, I'm so bummed, but it's not the right program. I applauded her for knowing what it is she needs and what it is she wants. You must know what you need and you want. This may not, and I know it won't be the right answer for everybody, but for the families that it is the best fit for, we are going to have a blast because it's so much more than writing. It's so much more than writing. And again, if I have any returning people, isn't it so much more than writing? It really is. But know this acronym. If you choose to pick a different curriculum, pen your way through that curriculum. Where's the persuasive practice? Where's the expository practice? Where's the narrative practice? Because if you're not getting all of those, then you're not hitting all of the standards. And that's why people piece things together, which is totally fine. You can piece things together, but you don't have to. What you can do, this is what I want you to do. Go have a fun summer. Anybody up for that? Anybody want to yes, I just want to go have a fun summer. I want you to do that too. Go have a fun summer and know that you have peace of mind, because while you're bonding with your children, while you're making fun summer memories at the pool and at the beach and out at the lake and catching those lizards, I'm going to be here. I am going to be working over the summer on these things. Again, this is the ease that I want to offer you. I don't want you to have to sit there and do course development for an entire year. I'll do that. I've got training to do with my new team members. We've got scheduling to figure out. Those calendars that I gave you are not in stone. That was just an example. I've got to get the schedules out. I'm going to be promoting it, and we're going to start processing orders come July. So I just want you to know I will be at my computer most of the summer. I promise to take days off. I promise. So many of you look after me. It is the sweetest. I love women. I just do. You're the sweetest. You're like, have you taken a day off? I want to know something fun you're doing this week. I get the greatest emails. I promise I will throw in some fun there too. But this is fun for me to make a curriculum that engages children, that makes life easier for you, and that is academically sound. That, as weird as it sounds, totally fun for me. June is going to be course creation and development, a little bit of the training and the scheduling. July is going to be the finishing of the training and scheduling, promoting and processing orders. All right. So you're going to get all the firmed up stuff, like what are the classes you're offering? Give me June, please. And then I'm going to give you a really cool detailed list, because you're going to get to pick. Oh, wrong way. All right. How many of you know this old acronym? I love this acronym, TEAM. Together, everyone achieves more. As much as I want you to have a closer connection with your children, and I do want that. I want you to have a closer connection with your children, but I also want you to feel connected with me. I don't want you to homeschool alone. I don't want you to figure out writing alone. I want you to know I'm going to come alongside. I'm going to read your child's work. I'm going to give you honest feedback. All of us are going to give your child honest feedback. It's going to be very positive. I am all about positivity, 100% about positivity. I don't know anybody that enjoys a process when they only feel beaten down. I am about lifting up, lifting these kiddos up, and that I'm going to be working with them. But I'm also here for you when you get frustrated, when you have a question, you get all of that. In the community circle, it's not just for the kiddos. It's also for you to come in as well and get involved. The last thing I want to tell you, in this part, a lot of you are probably waiting for, What about pricing? Oh, you are so on the right. Thank you. Andrea, you're like reading my mind. I love it. Let's talk about it. So I wanted to create something academically grand. I am very well versed on the English language arts standards. There are 4 parts to English language arts: reading, writing, language speaking, and listening. These are the things that I cover. I don't cover everything in language arts. I want to make sure you know that. Yes, your children will be reading informational text, but you need to still be doing any fictional reading like novel studies, novel units. We don't do novels. We're doing research-based materials. I'm focused on academic essay writing. They're independent reading, which I hope they're doing a lot of. You're still making sure that's happening. I'm taking care of all the writing standards, grammar as it applies. And somebody asked, will there be even more grammar things? Yes, because I'm actually going to be freeing up some time. I want to, as I notice the things that I'm seeing in students writing, create little helpful videos to explain some of the grammar issues that we're seeing in the writing. There is a lot of research behind students who just do a workbook of grammar. Who's done the grammar workbooks, right? You're like, we're on page 7 today. You felt the grammar workbooks. We did those for years. Versus somebody who works on grammar based on what the student's writing. So if they're writing and you notice they don't, excuse me, you notice like they don't know where to put commas, it would be more applicable and helpful to do a comma lesson right then and there, rather than a random grammar book. Does that make sense? The students, oh yeah, what do you mean no prepositions at the end of sentences? If we start to see, oh, lots of prepositions at the end of sentences, let's talk about what prepositions are and where they go. That is going to mean so much more to a child than just some random page 27 out of a book that they're like, I don't know when I'm ever going to use adverbs end in ly. And I don't know when I'm ever going to use that. So we will apply the grammar lessons that you will be seeing more of in this course. Spelling and vocabulary, we don't do any spelling practice. We talk about using tools to help with that. Vocabulary, that kind of comes into it because we talk about writing vocabulary, but there's not specific lists. Mechanics is referring to sentence structure. Yes, we do that. And there is a lot of collaborating and presenting, which in the homeschool realm, that's missing for a lot of students. Are they collaborating with other students and presenting their work? No. What was also super important, I wanted to keep doing what works. When you guys start to get your state testing, those of you who are in the crash course, please share your test scores. I love seeing those. All of my students, I will be hammering them. Did the test scores come in? Did the test scores come in? Please send me your scores. I'd love to see them because it is confirming that what we're teaching is setting them, if not at standard, above standard. We get 3s and 4s all the time from the students who are doing our work. I do want to officially invite you to join the WOW Writers Clubhouse. Let's talk price. As I said, you have some options here. If you just want to think one semester at a time, you should be writing 1 persuasive, 1 expository, and 1 narrative essay. This is a perfect semester grouping. All right. So most semesters, depending on the school, 16 to 18 weeks long, but we've got breaks and things like that kind of can get in the way. So to do 12 weeks of work, right? Each of these are 4 weeks, 12, you'll have more than enough time to do each one in a semester long period. But I'm still going to give you access for the whole school year to those 3. I'm not going to take them away from you. If you didn't finish in January, you're like, we still need February to finish. That's fine. You get to keep it. Keep the courses, the 3 that you pick, and you get to pick. Like I said, when I get to that list, you and your child can read through. It's going to be like a menu. You're going to be like, ooh, that one sounds fun. Let's do that for persuasive. Go to the expository page. Ooh, that one sounds fun. Let's do journalism 101. Okay. You'll get to pick which ones you want. And you'll get access to all 3 up front. So you get to go in any order you want. Any and all of the Clubhouse meetings are open to your child. The community circle is open. You get a video review of each one of those finals. When they do their final one, we'll give you a formal review. So that's really nice. That one costs $397. which is actually less than what I'm charging right now. Isn't that awesome? So many people are like, our schools are cutting back on funding. So I was like, okay, what is the least expensive I could make this? $397. You get one persuasive, one expositive, one narrative. If you want to share those three and also get a sibling to come on, do the same three, and still go to the clubhouse meetings, still get the review for your sibling, there's a discounted price of $250. Okay. Second option, do you just want a whole year's worth? There is a discount. And yes, you can still break it into 2 payments. You're still committing to the year. Some schools want you to just do half and then half though. That's fine. It's totally fine. All right. But you can, if you want the deal, you can commit to a whole year, get all 6. Again, you're going to pick 2 persuasive, 2 expository, 2 narratives. All right. Now, some kids, they might do all 6 and be done by February. Could you come in and buy 3 more at $397? Sure. If you've got the funds and you want to do that, yeah, you can buy 3 different ones. Sure. All right. Not a problem at all. Same thing. If for these 6, you want to add on a sibling to do the same 6, it's not like the sibling gets to pick different ones. It's the same set. Add on a sibling, $500. Same thing. Do you need to split that? $250 for the fall semester, $250 for the spring semester? Not a problem. Not a problem. Okay. I have some kiddos who every month this last year were like, I wish we could go faster. They love to write and they don't want to take 4 weeks. They want to do it in 2 or 3 weeks. These are the kids that this year I know will write 9 essays. This is advanced. This is advanced. I do not expect a lot of people are going to want 9 for a year, but can it be done? Yes. Will you maintain access? I will actually, your schools don't necessarily want me to say this, but you maintain access even throughout the summer. You're already paid. You already have it. I'm not going to take it away from you. So if you're like, I do want the 9, we'll probably do 6 or 7 in the school year. And I want to keep a couple that I'll still have access to over the summertime. Now, we won't have the live classes, though, during the summertime, the live clubhouse, but you'd still have the materials that you could still work on through the summer. Yeah, that's so sweet about Zoe. Thank you. And so again, price goes up to $997, still a great deal, 3, 3, and 3. Share it with a sibling, all the 9 that you want. Yes, absolutely. Can you break it into 2 payments, one for fall and one for spring? Yes, and yes. Okay. All right. This question came up from several of my current WOW Writers Live. Wait a minute, Mrs. Webb, what about poetry? For those of you who do not know, I love poetry. And in December, when everybody's burned out, they're ready for a break, I would always teach a 2-week, sometimes 3-week, short, simple, easy poetry unit. We learned about ekphrastic poetry. We learned about haikus. We learned about sonnets most recently. And the kids love them. So they're like, what about those? I am going to throw them in as a bonus. There's no extra for that. No extra for that. But here's the thing. I'm not going to announce that to the kids until December. I don't want families to start with poetry. Poetry is our filler between we worked really hard and now it's time for a break, or we're coming back. So let's start in easy with a poetry unit, right? So you're not going to see the poetry pieces pop in until December, but there will be several options and you get access to any and all of them. That's just because I love poetry. And if you love poetry too, what a fun thing to do. All right. So there we go. My goal, like I said, was to create something that had all these things that you want. Yes, we're going to get your child to write at or above grade level. Yes, there's consistent practice. It meets all the grade level expectations. They're going to be prepared. They're going to feel more confident. And rather than fighting, we're going to keep pouring in the fun. Absolutely pouring in the fun. So then, of course, comes the really important question. Okay, how do I sign up? How do I do this? I totally want in. And I know you want to get this because this answers all those things. This is your solution so that you can go enjoy summer. I know you want this. So I actually have, and I'm going to click here and let's see if it takes me. Yep, here's the page. So let me just grab this link for everybody. Hold on. You may not be able to see it right now, but I'm going to put it in the chat box. So everybody head on over there to the chat box. Okay, that will take you to this page. This page is for those who are like, I totally am interested. I at least want to move to the next step. I will wait until I see what all your curriculum options are, see if there are some ones that my child would like to write about. Great. You want to sign up. You want to get on this list. All right. I will certainly be emailing you bits and things of information. And like I said, I'm here as questions come up. We're still figuring out parts and pieces ourselves. But if you're on this list and I know where you're looking to go, it will make life a lot easier as we put people in the right lane as we move forward. Okay. That's what I think I wanted to tell everybody about. I'm going to stay for questions that you have. If that answered all your questions, you're free to go. I want to thank you so much for being here. I hope you sign up. I would love the ability to work with your child. It is such an honor and a joy to do what I do. As somebody who was a classroom teacher and then supported homeschooling mom through a charter school, I worked for JCS for 15 years, homeschooled 2 of our 3 boys. I just have a heart for homeschoolers. And when you allow me into your life and to journey and to help your child progress to the next level, when I say it delights me, it's an understatement. I just get passionate and geek out over this stuff. I really do. I love it so much. So if we feel like we're a good fit, by all means, get on that list and let's get you signed up. Like I said, we'll start processing things come July. There isn't a deadline to sign up. But you'll be getting more communication and you'll be the first to, like, when I do have the courses ready, the people on that list will hear from me first because they have shown the most interest. So if you really want to know like more about the things, be sure to get on that list. It doesn't mean you have to keep your seat, by the way, because I know things change over the summer. Yeah, you might find another program that feels better. It seems like a better fit. That's fine. I won't hold you to it. I need no money until we begin. So that's August. And I know that's just how charter schools work. And that's fine. I'm just preparing us now so that, one, you can relax, enjoy your summer, know that writing is taken care of. We'll get to orders and all that stuff come July, August. Not worried about that at all. Somebody asked about summer programs. Super excited. More's going to come out on this next week. The Essay Essentials is going to stay open all summer. We're going to have a special space in the community circle where kids can work on an essay and then submit it and get some feedback. So if you're like, I feel like what we should do over the summer is structure. 1 essay structure. What does that mean? Introduction. What does that mean? Body paragraph. What does that mean? Conclusion. If you don't feel you have a good, strong understanding of essay structure, that's a self-paced, self-study course. I'll send the link out later. If you're like, yep, we want to do that. That's a perfect writing practice for us throughout the summer. Great. Again, I'll be there for you and give you some feedback on how your child is doing with that. I highly recommend it. Like, then you come into the writing in August and your child already feels, oh, I know what an essay is, and I know how to structure one. So consider that. But the second thing we're going to be doing, starting at the end of June, we are going to be doing a book club. Every summer, I love to do a book club. I am so busy working on this new program that I have one of our WOW readers, my administrative assistant, Shelly Gooch, who's here right now, is actually going to be leading it. And I'm going to attend kind of as the student because I'm so excited about the book, Summer of the Monkeys. Shelley, do you want to tell us a little bit about the book? I'm putting her totally on the spot.
Hey.
Oop, sorry, I clicked it at the same time you did. Oh, I can't hear you. I clicked
Can you hear me
off.
now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Oh, I'm so excited about this book, ladies. Summer of the Monkeys. It was a favorite of mine when I was homeschooling my kids. So many sweet memories on hot summer nights, curling up with them on a couch. I shouldn't say curling up because it was hot with the fan on. But this is a story that's going to take us to the Ozarks in Oklahoma. This is what it looks like. And it's more than a story of a boy that comes across monkeys. It's about his adventures and so much more. So many wonderful lessons are taught in this book, and I am so excited to do this. So I hope I see your kiddos here. I'm working hard on it. It's going to be good.
Really good. So I'm
Yeah.
super excited for it too. Oh, I can remove the spotlight there. Wilson Rawls is the same author who wrote Where the Red Fern Grows, which is a heartbreaker. Luckily, this one doesn't have this happening at the end. Much happier, but all the same, great writing. And what I love to do in the summer, so the kids have written all year long, and it's so fun to read someone else's writing, and we become the critics. Right. And we critique it and we're like, ooh, that was a good use of figurative language. Look at that. Ooh, look what's happening there. That's like some good foreshadowing or predictability. So we enjoy a story together. We take it to a deeper level. It's a novel unit, and we just cover a certain section of the book each week. I'm trying to remember, Shelley, did you say it's like about 50, 60 pages a week? I thought you had an idea. Hold on.
It's about 50 pages a week reading, give or take. So that's maybe an hour of reading a week. Definitely, that can be adjusted to your kids' skill level.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So good. All right. So somebody asked about summer stuff. So those are the summer things. So let me go back and let me answer any other questions that I am seeing here. So we answered about pricing. Zoe said the essay portion was the easiest. I love that. Good. I would like to hear, okay, summer program. There we go. This is where I left off. Do you know the latest time the discussions will be? We actually, Angela, we're thinking we might even do some afternoon ones. We're going to be putting a survey out to all of the parents. What are the best days? What are the best times for your busy schedule? And if we get, so this is just an idea, and we'll survey it to see if anybody would come. But some people have said it'd just be nice if you had one Saturday morning. And I'm like, really? A Saturday morning? It's something we're thinking about. We have one person who had said she would do that. Saturdays actually are great for me to do a clubhouse meeting on a Saturday morning. So we're going to you're going to be helping with that scheduling part. All of you that signed up, you're going to be helping us develop that. We want it to be what fits your life best. Robin just said, sorry, I was late. We'll take time. Oh yeah, absolutely. No, you'll get the recording for sure. Okay, we talked about ordering. That's fine. August, not a problem. Okay, another good question. Since everyone's doing different assignments, how do you teach the weekly calls? So the weekly calls, and you missed that calendar. There is a different calendar that you'll see. They're clubhouse meetings, and I'm not the only one leading the clubhouse meetings. And let's say that you started with persuasive. There's going to be several persuasive meetings during the week, and your child will just go to whichever practice that child is currently working on. So you don't need to go to a narrative and a persuasive and an expository every week. No, whatever your child's working on, that's the course that your child will go to. And it's really more like a showcase every week. We're going to have a focus area. So like I used as our example, narrative, maybe a dialogue hook, or right, something like that is our focus. But then we're going to be encouraging the students. Some students get stuck at that outline portion. If you're wondering like, how'd you come up with this part? Some students get stuck along the way and they get to the outline portion and they can't get past it. They're like, I'm just not understanding. I'm not just understanding. And a week goes by, and you know how fast a week goes. It's like that. And then your child hasn't done, not only the outline's not done, but now production week is over and there's not even an essay in rough draft form, right? Time is of the essence. So if students instead could come to the class, even if they don't want to share theirs, but they want to see how other people are doing their outlines. It can give them a lot of guidance on that part, on that piece. All right. Another question. How many weeks for the summer program? Oh, for the book club, 6 weeks. I think we decided it's like last week of June, all of the weeks of July. I think there's going to be like 5 classes in July, 1 week, the last week of June. Shelly can answer that in the chat box too. Yeah, absolutely. I will send that to you, Eva. I'm happy to do that. Yes, they still will get their personalized videos, but they're not all due at the same time, which is really nice, which I think it's going to make our life easier, but I think it's going to be better for students too. So when Mason turns his in, Marie, he'll put it, there's going to be a space in the community circle. So either you can link it there or he can learn. Again, there's a lot of technology. Your kids learn a lot of technology. Even though I'm not going to be creating Google folders for your child this year, I'm still going to teach the kids how to create a Google folder so that they can stay electronically organized. That's what I mean. Like, this is so much more than a writing class. This is a technology class. And it's a mindset class. I talk a lot about mindset, choosing thoughts that are going to help you, not hurt you. And so they'll put, so for instance, I'll use Mason again as an example. So let's say, Marie, that Mason finishes on a Tuesday, right? Essay is done on Tuesday, right? And it's an expository, informative essay. Then that link to the completed one will go in an area. We'll show you where it goes in the community circle. We'll get a notification. I actually have somebody whose job next year is the community circle. Like, I'm hiring her to manage the community circle, because with 100 kids in there, like, that's a lot of managing, and the kids are amazing. But every once in a while, because they haven't had social practices in how to use online spaces, this is something we need to teach them. There's an etiquette in this. And I know too many children that they just get thrown onto different social medias, right? Go to any like middle school, and their parents never went over an etiquette on how to act and react and participate. So that community circle, it's deeper than just put your link over there. A lot happens over there. So I've got somebody who's going to be managing that. And then we all get notifications. There's an essay ready to be read. So if I get the notification and I have a free 30 minutes, I'm going to go read Mason's essay, and I'm going to make a review like we always have. And I'm going to give you that link in that same space where you linked the essay on how we've always done it. Highlight the name on the document and then email you and say, okay, Mason's review is ready. We're going to ask that you give us 48 hours. And we think we can do that. We think that if you turn it in within 48 hours, including your weekends, if you turn it in on a Friday, you'll still have it back by Monday, right? Because we know then you need to do corrections and you need to, gone are those days where any of you have this teacher, you turn in a paper and you don't ever see it again. Or if you do see it, it's 2 months later. Anybody have a teacher like that? Oh my goodness, it drove me crazy. In middle school and high school, I would turn in a paper so excited to get the feedback, and I would maybe never get it back, or it would be like a month later. And I get it. She was totally overwhelmed. But by that time, I was checked out. I was on to another assignment. I was like, I don't even remember what that was. So we believe in fast, prompt. Let's get this back to the kids as quick as possible, because we want them to see what you wrote is important. What you created did not exist in the world until you created it. When you created it, it happened. That's a lot of power, and that's important, and it's important to us. So you'll see those quick turnarounds. So yes, you'll get that. Let's see here. Oh, I hope you sign up. Who said that? Who said that? Eva said that. Yes, let's do that. Let's do that for sure. Let's see. Is there a way to find out what schedule you'll be teaching? Yes, every month you're going to get ahead of time that whole month's. We're going to try and keep pretty much the same. So for instance, I'm trying to remember, Shelly, but I think you're going to be doing expositories. Are you going to be doing informatives? So I will do it every week, but Shelly will also have 2 extra additional classes every week. And we're going to try and stay consistent from one month to the next, unless something comes up with our own personal schedules. But yes, you'll get that in advance so that you can plan things out, but we're going to try and keep it super consistent. I think that just makes everybody's life easier. Miriam said the mindset. Yes, the mindset is so important. It all starts with our thoughts. I'm really big into choosing your thoughts on purpose. Yes. Oh, yes. Lori Ann was asking about the Wow SE Essentials. It's $147. It's a one-time purchase, lifetime access. Oh, good. Thank you, Shelley. We've got our tentative dates there for anybody there. Correct. There's not, for me, a specific due date, but I'm going to recommend you set a date. So let's say you open up, let's say you're going to do the animal podcast. That's the one that Cruz wants to start with. I'm going to use Cruz. I see Marissa's beautiful face. So Cruz is going to start with the animal podcast. He's like, Mom, she brought back the animal podcast. I love that one. So Marissa's great. Go ahead. Let's print off the calendar and let's look at our homeschool calendar. And I'm going to put the dates on your calendar for you. And so she's going to say the 11th, the 12th, the 13th. Here's your due date, Cruz. I want you to be doing this on this schedule. That is the date that I am expecting that to get turned in to Mrs. Webb, that she will then be giving you a review within 48 hours. Okay. What's great about that is even though I recommend 4 weeks, if Cruz is like, Mom, I want to go faster than that. I want to do week 1 and week 2 in the week of August 15th to the 22nd. I want to do 2 weeks in that. Sure, you guys can do that. You can speed it up. You can slow it down. But when you open 1 month's course and you print off the materials you need, there's a calendar. You set the dates, set them according to your calendar. You can even put on there the dates and the times that coming to a live class with us also needs to happen. So you could put on that calendar that you print off 9 a.m. Zoom class with Mrs. Webb, or Tuesday 1:30 with Miss Mimi. Put it all on that calendar for your child. Yes. Okay, great. Let's see. And so the showcases really are every week. Some students will only come at the very end when their whole essay is done and they got their review. I just know some kids, like that's what they want to do. They just want to work on their writing, get their review, and then they'll show up at one of our clubhouse meetings. So what's going to be different is every week's kind of a showcase, but on one particular Thursday, let's say at 9 a.m., I come into the class, we're doing persuasive, and one student is, I'm struggling with my outline. Another student might say, hey, I got my review back and I picked the paragraph that I want to read. May I read it to the group? Yes, read it to the group. We're going to dissect it, talk about what that student did really well. So even though not everybody's at that level where that student is reading the portion that's their favorite, how inspiring that's going to be to the person who is on the outline, who's, oh, I want to get to that point. I want to read that portion to the class. So in some ways, there could be so many more showcases for kids if they're doing writing at a faster rate, or they just want to pace themselves. What do we need the quick turnaround for with their, but they are presenting. Yeah, so let's just to be clear, you want one, I would think you'd want the feedback no matter what, just so you know, is your child hitting all the standards? Even if your child never shared it, I would think the review, this is my opinion, have you all found the review to be helpful to see, are they spot on with these things? Like, I think no matter what, that is a great thing. But then, so again, I'm just going to keep going back to Mason on this one. So Mason gets the review, opens up the document, considers the suggestions, considers the corrections, makes any final changes. So let's say Mason gets that back on Thursday. And then all the classes are over for that week. So the next week, Mason should decide which class is he going to come to. He's going to share his screen and he's going to read a portion of his final reviewed essay. just like we did in the showcase. It's just, I'm not going to go and screenshot them. The kids are going to share their screen instead. As you might imagine, that's a little on the time consuming side, screenshotting. And a lot of times kids will be like, oh, that's not the paragraph I wanted to read. So I'm like, I'm gonna let them pick. Which paragraph are you most proud of? Share it with us. We'd love to hear you read it. Okay, good. Let's see. Andrea, you are at rock and roll status. Love that. Thank you. Thank you. That's so sweet. Oh, that's nice to know. Zoe really did great. All the things, emails, organizing, the filing system, the bookmarks bar, the Canva. Exactly. It's not just a writing class. All right. Oh, good. Heather, hopefully Heather's going to be back with her younger one. So there will not be a time when everyone is presenting. So every week is like a showcase. Every week is like a showcase. But what they're presenting, we're not just presenting the final piece. Writing is a process, and I want students to start to share things like their notes. When one child can see how another child takes notes, that can be eye-opening. I can tell them all day long how I think they should do it, but when they see a peer do it, and they're like, oh, that I like how you took notes like that. The inspiration is going to be so much higher and grander than anything else. So it really is going to feel like a writing community. I don't know if any of you have ever been in a writing community where, any book writers here? Anybody's ever been like in a book writing club? They're amazing. And everybody's working on their own thing. Yeah. Okay, good. Miriam. Yep. Totally know what you're talking about. So you hold each other accountable by going to this monthly book meeting. It's a writing community. But everybody's at different paces and places. The person who's moderating it, leading it will be like, okay, so who wants to share what's your current struggle? So I might raise my hand and be like, okay, so I'm trying to develop this character. And I feel like this person is coming off as not very likable. I want it to be a more likable character. So they may have suggestions for me. That's a writing community. It's not everybody's on the same page all the time. And I really want this clubhouse to feel more like that. If that's where you are, is in the outline stage, then we'll look at your outline. If you're struggling, I don't really know how to wrap up my conclusion. Could somebody help me with the conclusion? I know I'm supposed to have a call to action at the end. I can't come up with anything. So we as a group will be like, ooh, any ideas? What would be a good call to action for this persuasive conclusion? And the kids will inspire each other, right? Like, I'm so excited. I think this is going to be amazing. I have never heard of a program that has done this. I feel like I'm cutting edge right here. I really do. And this is the part that I am just so excited about. I want to create something that hasn't been created before, that is going to support the family who is sick and tired of what's happening in other forms of education. They're like, I want to homeschool, but I know I can't do it all on my own. And they're like, wait, who is this person that created this program that I can get support? My child can get support. I don't have to do the lessons. She already did the lesson. She's got a team. Sign me up. Education needs to change. It needs to change. I think we all agree with that. Education needs to change. What we know can't be eliminated is writing. Your child will need to know how to write and communicate effectively with written word for his or her entire life. In business, career, knowing when to be persuasive, how to be persuasive, that's going to help. Knowing when to be informative, how to explain something with clarity, non-emotional, factual, how to tell a story. We've got storytellers. Some of your kids are going to grow up and be authors. Some of your kids are going to write movie scripts, right? Like, we don't know what our children are going to do, but all of these writing standards, these 3 core PEN, PENIT, they are going to help your child now, next year, next decade, and so on. It's a very valuable part. So yeah, so yes, the review is very helpful. Good. Okay, I thought so too. Reviews help me not be the bad guy. Oh, I love, who said that? Whitney, I love that you said that. Reviews help me not be the bad guy for my son. I can say, look, This needs more work. I love that you shared that. So many parents have said, I love the review because it's something off my back. You don't have to review your child's work. I will review your child's work. Yeah, Michelle agrees too. Good. Oh, I don't give grades. No, I do not get grades. I want to work with your child until what your child produces is A quality. The bar is here. And until we hit here, we're just going to keep working on it. So at the end, I want to see an A quality writer, above average writer. That's the goal, above average writer. So we're just going to keep working until we get there. No more forgetting to sign up for the showcase. That is hysterical. That is hysterical. I love that. Yeah, and it is. I agree, Miriam. Yeah. Okay, good. Oh, good. Great, great, great. Love the idea of sharing the process. And Melissa 2.0. I love that. That's so awesome. Oh, that's really sweet. So somebody privately messaged me, but I'm still going to read it out loud just because I think it's really sweet. Thanks so much for thinking so deeply about what you are offering to our families. Okay, that almost makes me emotional. I really do. I think about you guys all the time. I think about your kids. I had a kid in our Wow Writers workshop who one time said, I feel like I'm just one of your kids. You're like just another mom to me. As a teacher, there's not much better compliment than being mom status. I love on your kids big time. I can't help it. I'm the person, if we met, I'd be like, Vivian, I'd give her a big hug. She's like, I don't know. But your kids, it's that way too. I can't wait till I get to see Brianna in real life at some point. We're going to hug for 30 seconds and not stop. There's just a connection there. That's why I say it's more than writing. It's a relationship. So thank you. Thank you very much. I want to keep that chat. That whole thing is just so beautiful, what you wrote. Thank you. Oh, made me a little emotional. Let's see here. We were struggling to use the last of our funds. This would have been just what we needed. It's so funny, Miriam. I've gone through times in my life where I've been like, I can't believe I didn't find this sooner. But here's a thought that I'm going to offer to you. You'll get used to this. I do this all the time. You found me exactly when you were supposed to find me. And I know that because you just found me exactly when you were supposed to find me. If you were supposed to find me a year ago or 2 years ago, reality says you would have found me. Something else was going on. That wasn't our time. This is our time. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, exactly at the right time. And this next year is going to be exactly what you needed. That's a better thought. And that's something I've worked on too. I love the new style. Yay, you're implementing. I hope my kids will be more engaged. That's my hope too. The review was very helpful. Kids enjoyed it. Awesome. Yay. So let's see, since we were not able to attend CAST, can we still access the WOW materials? Yeah, I actually can still give you access to the crash course. Did you want that, Eva, instead of the Essay Essential one? I'm fine with that. I could totally work with that. Yeah. Or both, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both sounds great.
Yeah, both is great. Both is great. And like I said, I'm around all summer, so we can work together. We'll get you feeling, I really want you to have peace.
Yeah.
Like I can feel it.
As I mentioned in my chat, I've got this incredibly creative kid who has so many ideas that he can't really game a timed or really a timed essay. And so it causes a lot of consternation and a lot of self-doubt, whereas he has the creativity, the grammar, he has all these other pieces, but gaming that timed approach that
Adds a lot of anxiety.
around it. So I'd like to get him squared away.
And it is, yeah, I think summertime is perfect for that. Because it just be a little bit throughout the week, sprinkled in, no stress, no worry, get some feedback as we go along. I think it'll be great. I think it'll be great. Oh, thank you, Miriam. I do feel very passionate. This is true. Oh, let's see. Oh, that's so sweet. So somebody else said, my daughter maybe going back to public school next year, but she begged to continue with your course as well. Thank you for inspiring her. All right. You know who you are. And thank you for saying that. That is such a sweet compliment to me. And I love that girl. I love that girl of yours. She is amazing. Really amazing. All right. I think those are all the questions. Any others? As I said, we're learning this together. It's a big change with a lot of comfortable returning pieces. So I feel like it should go fairly seamlessly, but as we go, you guys, you know that I'm so open to your constructive suggestions. I am so open to, if you're like, you know what would be really great? Give me your wish list. Give me your wish list. I'm not going to come make you coffee in the morning or something like that. Right. I got to draw the line somewhere. But if there are certain things, and not just before we start, but if like you're in it for 2 months and you're like, I sure wish she did this or offered that. We are always looking to make this the best possible program for your children, right? Best for the children first, best for you second. Obviously, you have to meet all the curriculum. That's my responsibility, but we want it to be good stuff. Awesome. All right. Yes, the recording of this will be available in probably about an hour. I will send that out. Absolutely. You're so welcome, Robin. I just love you. So sweet. Taylor has been amazing. I'm so glad you guys found me. Yes, I will. I'll send it to you. Melinda, you are so welcome. I tend to have a hard time with change. Me too. I hear you. She says, oh, this might have been a private message. Sorry, I just spoke it out loud. Your name took up that whole space. I didn't see that, but it's all very positive. I'll just say, she said, your class really blew me away last semester. So yeah, the way you get to know each kiddo personally, I really do love them. I really do. It's so fun. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. And thank you. Have a great rest of your day. I actually am heading on a plane tomorrow. And I'm going to the East Coast for 10 days to see my dad and a really good friend, my sister-in-law. So I've got a 10-day solo trip. I'm leaving the husband and the kids behind. My baby's 19, so it's not a big deal. But I'm so excited to go on a little vacation. Yes, I'm taking my computer with me. Yes, I'll be checking my emails. Feel free to reach out if you have questions. But just know you may be hearing a lot from Shelly in the next 10 days. She is my admin assistant extraordinaire, and she is on those emails. If you don't hear from me, you will hear from Shelly. And welcome to Wow Writers Clubhouse. I hope to see you in there. Bye, everyone.